Okay, we're back at it again. So I made a little bit of progress. Kind of the challenge, gluing this keel thing on. I don't know. See, there's the main structure, but this bottom keel, the bottoms of this piece are chamfered because eventually this planking is going to go down into that slot. So you had to carve that out and then put the keel on, which provides that slot down there. So did that on both sides, got that all put on, and now I'm starting to put in the frames. And what's important with these is to make sure that they're square. I don't have a little square, but I've got one of the die cut pieces here, and I'm using that. So I've got several of those in. I got the whole thing on a little clamp, and so I'm kind of going through systematically. I started with some of the back, and each one is fitted and each one is spaced properly, and I don't have a square, but I use this to make sure that it's square with the main frame. And so I got several in the rear or the stern, and now I'm doing the front. And so this is going to be the second one. And again, I think I mentioned that, but I've got a letter number designation. This is B, A, B, C, and so on. And then I've also got this reference line that also matches up with the reference line that they give you in the plans. So this next one's going to go on here like that. But I think before I do that one, I've got this one right here is kind of weird because there's not much holding it. This is where I think one of the masts comes up. And this little thing is broken off, I think, twice. So what I'm going to do is, this was A, B, and C. Yeah, I think that is this one, C. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that one in there because I've just glued this in, but I know it's going to break again. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and fit it in right now. And it comes down fine. And see, the main thing is that you've got these reference lines that match up. The line on the hull and then the line on the frame, making sure that the shape is right. So I'm going to go ahead and glue up this little sucker. That, and we'll put a little bit on here, on each side, and then just a little bit. And I just been using these Q-tips to kind of make sure it's all down there. Good, goes down there. And so now this one's, oh, I did the wrong one. This is A, B, and C. Yeah, I screwed that up. So I'm gonna put this in there. On each side. And that'll be fine because I'll go ahead and put that in too, but I just wanted to make sure that this goes in, because that little piece that keeps breaking off. There we go. And I use little Q-tips. These seem to work pretty good to even out the glue. So once it's in place, it's important that obviously the top is flush. These lines, I don't know if you can see it, but this line there and that line there have to line up. And then I go ahead and use kind of my pretend square to make sure that's perfectly square. And if it's not, sometimes what I'll have to do is I've got some of these little tiny clamps. So I'm going to put this little clamp on there. And then I'll double check it again. Yep, that looks good. And that looks good. So that one is good. And since I've already put the glue on this one, I'm going to go ahead. This is A, B, and C. I'll go ahead and we'll glue up this little piece. There. And there. There. And there. And we're going to drop that right on the top of there. I've already trial fit all these to make sure they all fit and that they're all the right length. The biggest thing is that, you know, the length of them has got to be right, because it comes down and then the planking, when it comes on, it's going to go into that little chamfer that I cut earlier. So this one looks pretty good. And it is, check that it looks like it's square. Can't get in there, but I'm sure it is. So there we go. So we're making some progress, kind of going from each end. But like I said, got the keel piece on. Had a little problem back here, a piece broke off. And that's one of the things when you're trying to file all this and sand it and get everything fit. There's a few real delicate little areas that you know have been a problem. And this this one right here, this little thing on the back, that's where the rudder is going to go. This little thing is broken off, I think, twice. So once I put the last frame in there, it should, you know, strengthen that up. So there we go. So I'm gonna let that dry, get all these dry before I put on any more.